Hey y'all, whether it's morning, evening, or afternoon, I'm just glad that you guys had decided to vibe with E. Yes, the one and only E. Hey y'all, hope y'all feeling amazing, doing amazing, and just being amazing overall. And if not, it's okay. It's alright, my friend, because you know why? Bad times don't last forever, because after every storm there is a rainbow, and you're getting closer and closer every day to that rainbow, that pot of gold, that light at the end of the tunnel, my friend. I promise you it's going to happen. Stay consistent. Manifestation is real. Please believe in yourself, as well as taking it one day at a time. Okay, so once again, y'all, hey y'all, what's up, what's poppin'? I hope you all are feeling amazing. We are in the month of October. We have 2 more months to go within this year until we are in the new year to start quarter 1 off. But I feel like we should end quarter 4 off on a good note and just rock out and do what's have to be done. Okay, if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And for the ones that are not new to this, but true to this, hey y'all, what's up, what's poppin'? So we do have a few things that I want to talk about with you guys. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you guys so very much for taking the time out of y'all busy day to listen to me or to watch me. I sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. From all the new people, the OGs, to the about to become OGs and things like that, I thank you all so very much. As well as to everyone that has been so engaged with the newsletters. I'm so grateful for that. As well as for all the guests that has been on Vibing Out with Guests. I'm so blessed about that. And I'm gonna give y'all a little spoiler alert. This week we will not have a Vibing Out with Guest appearance, and that's okay, that's all right. But even though we might not have one, that's right, no guest episode this Friday, but that just means you have got the perfect chance to catch up on past episodes to Vibing Out with Guests. As well as Vibing Out with Guests, if you're new here, is proof that every story, no matter where it starts, has the power to inspire others. This series continue to grow, and in every episode is a reminder of why we started real conversations that inspires, uplifts, and connects. So with 23 guests already featured, every conversation is filled with wisdom, resilience, and perseverance. So take the moment to revisit episodes you may have missed, or want to re-listen or rewatch to one that really inspired you. Trust me, you will find something new every time you listen. So yes, so we do not have Vibing Out with Guest appearance. It's super like crazy, but it's okay, it's all right. I'm still in the midst of accepting guest appearances, so please on every way you listen to watch me, the link is in there, the link tree, and it has like the Vibing Out with Guest forms. We do Zoom, and we also do in person. So with that being said too, y'all, if y'all watching me on video, I know y'all probably like, what in the world you got on? So this is my sweater, because not only is this week is the 2nd week of October, but it's also homecoming week for my HBCU. Like, I just love when homecoming comes around, but now I love it even more because now that I'm an alumni, it feels different and it gets me riled up. So y'all see my Morgan State sweater on. I got from Black and Scholar, which is a black owned business. The CEO of that business, she graduated from an HBCU as well. She graduated from Howard. Yep, she graduated from Howard, and she has like certain HBCUs that she's partnered with, and she makes apparel for them. And I got this sweater, y'all, for my last homecoming as a student, and I said I will be wearing this sweater every chance I get, because not only did it cost some money and it was worth it, but the quality of the sweater is most definitely like my favorite, and it's top notch. So shout out to all the HBCUs out there that celebrated homecoming, as well as the PWIs. Homecoming season is the season where it's like, it's meant for you to enjoy your HBCU, as well as reminisce on the good times that you had. And by this being my first alumni homecoming, I'm most definitely going to embrace everything that comes with the territory. Okay, so not only is October like, you know, homecoming year, like homecoming season for football and things like that, but it's also a lot of things that October is impacted with, such as breast cancer awareness, the signature awareness month that's in October. So shout out to all the breast cancer survivors and the ones that are about to become survivors, because y'all got this, and this is not the end. This is not the end. You're gonna keep fighting, and you got this. One thing that I want to do, and hopefully I can find it, is do the breast cancer walk. And I did it 2-3 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. So shout out to all the breast cancer survivors out there. Also, October is impacted with domestic violence awareness. It's a time to dedicate to raise awareness about domestic violence. I didn't really want to talk much about it because that's a really tough situation. However, I've not been, you know, a part of that, but I have heard stories about it, and that's a very touchy situation. But I am going to show my appreciation and share my love to every victim that has been a part of domestic violence. This is something that's very serious, and I really hope that you guys are in the stage in your life where now that you're getting the help you deserve, as well as living your life fully and with a purpose, and not feeling guilty about standing up for yourself, because it takes a strong person to even have that advocacy in their dark place. So for all the domestic violence warriors and survivors out there, I commend you. I love you. I'm here if you want to talk about it. And yeah, this is not going to defeat you. As well as October is National Cybersecurity Awareness. So shout out to all the cybersecurity dudes and women out there. I gotta text my best friend and my brother and let them know, because this is their month, you know. Shout out to all the cybersecurity people out there. Like, bless y'all heart. Like, with all the coding and things like that, y'all are really heroes, because I cannot do it. As well as they got National Pizza Month and National Book Month. So take the time to read a book and explore some new genres of books as well. And also, we have some days in October where it's International Day of the Girl. So October 11th, all the women out there, please take off for the 11th. You better not be working. You better not be handling no business. You better go out there and do something. However, on October 11th, for me, I will be at my HBCU tailgating and having a good time. So I am having a good day off, but I'm still embracing being around women that I love truly the most at my HBCU, and taking the time to love on me. And then they said October is impacted with World Smile Day. That's so cool. And World Teacher Day. And then also, I'm gonna pull up some stuff about within, you know, my social work stuff. The Mental Health America calendar. October is all about Hispanic Heritage Month, ADHD awareness, depression awareness, breast cancer awareness, anniversary of the Mental Health Partaking in Addiction, Mental Illness Awareness Week, National Day of Prayer for the Month Illness, World Mental Health Day, that's October 10th, and National Coming Out, that's October 11th, OCD Awareness Week, the 13th through the 19th, Mental Health American Policies Institution, that's October 4th, and Mental Health American Day, October 15th, Mental Health American Conference, and Global Peer Support Celebration, that is the 19th, and Mental Health America is the 16th through the 17th, and Mental Health America, that's a conference, is 16th to 17th, and then the Mental Health American Affairs Day is October 15th. So October is full of a lot of amazing stuff. And as you guys know, but if you're new here, for us, we're in the second week of October, and this theme continues with healing, heritage, and habits. Thriving through change. This month is about grounding ourselves in what matters most. Honoring where we come from, practicing habits, that strengthens us, and creating space for healing in the middle of life transition. So this week's challenge, I challenge you guys, is to reflect on one tradition, story, or piece of wisdom from your family or culture that has helped you through tough times. Write it down or share it with someone you trust. Remember, heritage is just not about the past. It's a source of strength that fuels your future. So I wanted that gives y'all a little hint, even though y'all probably already read the title. I like to give y'all a little bit of mystery of why this is the vibe of the day. So as always, the quote of the week, the quote of the day, I want you guys to remember also too, is to know your roots is to understand your power. And as always, please stay connected, y'all. Follow the podcast page on IG at vibing.with.e. Use the hashtag vibingwithe to share your favorite moments and reflection. And until the next vibe, from E, the host of Vibing with E LLC. So without further ado, I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy hearing my voice, or watch me on YouTube, because we're going to dive into the second vibe of this month. So without further ado, Vibing with E weekly vibe check, where meaningful conversations meet growth and real conversations. The week of October the 8th, 2025, Wednesday drop. So today's new episode is episode 124. We will be talking about honoring heritage, lessons from the past, power for the future. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because October is also about Heritage Month. And I also want to get a little bit different into it. As well as, y'all, forgot to mention too, October is also surrounded by bullying month. So we will also tap in a little bit within, well, I did that last year, so I wanted to change a little bit, but I'm still going to honor those things like I told you to. So please, if anything impacts with you within the month of October, like domestic violence, breast cancer awareness, cybersecurity month, anything like that, please take the time to celebrate yourself, but also honor yourself and give yourself grace for what you do and being able to advocate and stand up for yourself. Okay, so yes, this is the new episode 124, honoring heritage, lessons from the past, power for the future. This week vibe is all about looking back to move forward. Honoring heritage, meaning embracing the culture, roots, traditions, and stories that shaped our identity and resilience. It's about carrying the wisdom of those who came before us so we can live more roots. Purposeful and confident lives today. In this episode, we will cover why honoring heritage builds pride and confidence in identity, how culture traditions strengthens families and communities, the role of heritage in navigating self-discovery and challenges, particularly participating ways to reflect, celebrate, and persevere culture, and why knowing your roots is essential for shaping your future. This conversation is a reminder that heritage isn't just history, it's your foundation, it's your power, and your guide forward. So let's get into it. I want you guys, like I say, sit back, relax, enjoy hearing my voice, or watch me on YouTube, because as always, every vibe of the day is something special. Okay, so without further ado, y'all, let's me get this up and running, because I'm working with my iPad now, y'all. So I have the laptop recording the audio. My phone has the camera on here too, so this is another thing to making sure that the camera and stuff looks right. And what else we're gonna do? Okay, I think I have it, y'all. Wait, no, that was the one from last week. Okay, so if you're new here, I break down every vibe of the day as well as wellness 101 lesson down within the definition, the 5 W's, a quote of the day, and thank you for tapping in little intro. Okay, so without further ado, let me give it to y'all hot, raw, and uncut like always. And always too, within the 5 W's, the quote of the day, the 5 W's, the definition, and the thank you for tapping in are notes that I do develop from online, from my own knowledge, and just some little insights that I have seen probably with on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I just collaborate them together and then teach y'all, because not only are you guys are learning, but I'm learning too from even giving it to you guys. Like going back to learning never stops. Learning outside of the classroom never stops, as well as in the classroom. But you don't have to learn inside the classroom. You can learn outside of it, as well as you could be a teacher to someone and you don't even have to be certified as a teacher. As well as in some cases, don't be afraid to still be the student, and sometimes maybe have to be a student and teach at the same time. I know it's crazy, but it happens. Like our generation, we're teaching the older as well as they're teaching us, as well as the younger generation is teaching us, and vice versa. We're learning every day, and we're learning from each other. And that's why it's important that we honor these skills that are being taught to us, because that also impacts with even in our family with knowing our heritage, honoring our heritage, as well as understanding the lessons from the past that can help us, within the future. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna say it again. Today's episode is honoring heritage, lessons from the past, power for the future. And the definition impacts like the whole purpose of today's vibe of the day, as well as giving you a little bit of insight of why is this important, of like what's the whole meaning and definition of it. Sorry, not why is it important, because I have the why question for that. So the definition is, this vibe is about looking back to move forward. Honoring heritage, meaning embracing cultural roots, traditions, and stories that shaped identity and fuels resilience. It's about understanding the satisfaction of those who came before us and carried their wisdom into the present. Heritage reminds us that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves, a community, a history, and a legacy that deserves to be honored. When we take time to acknowledge our past, we gain direction and clarity for the future. So I'm going to say that again. When we take the time to acknowledge our past, we gain direction and clarity for the future. So when we take the time to acknowledge what happened in our past, it also helps us with what we want to happen in the present day, as well as what we want to see happen in the future, or what we don't want to happen. So within this case, not only are we learning about like your roots and your family roots, but you're also learning that what can maybe turn into a tradition for you, as well as put a stepping stone in your life that can be a part of a heritage moment that you didn't really know of. Like sometimes we carry on character traits and things from our families that we don't know that we do. And it's so crazy because at times you be like, why? It's like, you know, you have family members be like, oh, that's what your mother do, that's what your father do. You be like, how is that? But you know, just this is about looking back to move forward. We're looking at things that has happened in the people that's in our life, older generations, what they have done to help us move forward. Because sometimes we still need to honor who came before us. Not sometimes, we always have to honor the ones that came before us, to understand and really get the gist of how and why are you who you are. Because yes, you are who you are, but you need to understand too your roots. Like what makes you you, from the way you look, your hair color, the texture, the eyes, everything. And I'm real big on that, because I'd be like, I want to know, how is this possible? And then like, did anybody else in my family was the social worker? Was anybody else a lawyer? Things like that. So just learning about your family, but also taking the time to even ask, please y'all, this is one thing I want you guys to take advantage of. If you still have great aunts, uncles, cousins, stuff still alive, please take the time to sit down and interview them to understand who you are, as well as where y'all come from. I did that before with a paper for undergrad at my HBCU, before I got into the social work program with my grandmother, to understand, like, I forgot what it was called. It was the historical, it was like an older paper, or getting to know elderly, it was something like that. But talking to someone in your family to understand, like, where did they come from? Because the course that I took at the time for this assignment was Black families, and it was to understand like how things were for them. Like, how did they go about it day to day? How was their house? Was their house full of family, or was it full of kinship? Kin folks, let's call kinship. How was education like for them? What was the future like? How was the dynamic, as well as the environment, the work dynamic, not policies, but financial stability, your mental health. Was that really like a big thing that was being pressed out there, like mental health and things like that? And I did that on my grandmother, my mom's mom, and I learned quite a lot. And it was so interesting because, y'all, that paper had to be, I think, what, 6 to 8 pages. And my professor back then, she did not play. If you go over the limit, she's not reading it. And also too, she was like, too, if you want to, you can record it. And at that time, y'all, I think I was in the process of, no, I wasn't. The vibing with E didn't even come to play at that. But it was so crazy because also when I went to my first university, community college, I had to do the same thing for my women's class within my mom, like learning more about her, and then just having those audios and listening back at them was super crazy. But with that audio I did with my mom, y'all, I was so sick. I don't know how I was able to do it, but we were able to do it. Excuse me. And I got a decent good grade on it, but it was like, it could have been better if I was, you know, clear and well. But, you know, doing things like that, y'all, is something that can also help you to understand where you come from, as well as understand what makes you you, and overall understanding why things happen and how your roots are your roots. And that's just something that I'm real big on. I'm real big on history. I like to figure out why this happens? Why is this a norm? Who did this? Why is this? Things of that nature. Like, I'm always trying to understand, get down to the nitty-gritty. And that's why I developed like how vibe I would guess with the 5 W's, because those are the type of questions too you want to unfold when you're talking to your family and understanding where you come from. Or sometimes people said that looking online with what was it, the family tree, or I can't think of it right now, the ancient, this is like something like that, those type of websites, some say they're valid and some say it's like, I don't think this is valid. But for me, I never really tried that, because I was like, first of all, my last name is very rare. It's a very, very rare, it's not a common last name at that. And it was so crazy, at my HBCU we can look up, like when we do emails, we could go by the last name or the first name, and I put mine in. It was every so rare that I seen 4 other students that had the same last name as me, but I think they were graduate, like alumni status already. But it was just like, I like, if I would have took that risk and emailed them, what would have happened? But once you leave a university, like once you graduate 6 months after, your email is like gone. Your email address it's not gone from the school, but you cannot access it no more because you're not a student. And I was like, there's probably is discontinued, because y'all, mine from work it just discontinued before homecoming week. So I was like, oh man, like I graduated in May, it haven't even been 6 months yet. Like, it make month 5. I thought it'd be done in November, but hey, nevertheless, y'all. But that class, Overall Black Families, helped me understand, like, to dig a little deeper on where I come from. Because not only can you do it within, like, you know, asking questions, you can also do a genogram. A genogram would then break it down, like, you first, and then having your mom's side and your dad's side, and breaking it down, like, your siblings, their parents, the grandparents, great-grandparents, however you want to do it. And also the symbols represent a lot too, like the females, the males, as well as like the lines will represent, like, some would say the connection, some would do connections, some would say like medical history, because that's another thing too, that's a part of your heritage too, to understand like how these things like are hereditary. Like someone may have diabetes and may be a big thing in your family, and you have to understand why is a big thing and where did it come from and things like that. So those type of things can help you understand who you are a little bit more, as well as, you know, even though it may be sometimes boring, because like, okay, I want to figure this out and I have to do a pipe or an assignment, but 9 times out of 10 it may be helpful in the long run to help you understand, like, okay, this is who I am, and people wanted to take me as I am, Mary J. Blige. But also too, y'all, for me, I was like, it was kind of a little bit hard, because also, like I said, my last name is every so rare. And then also too, like, trying to have, you know, the older generation try to think back on a few things. Sometimes they be like, I don't even want to talk about it. But sometimes once you get them started, it's like, okay, now I'm in there, and now it's going to get good, and it's worth it. As well as the genograms, like just breaking it down and drawing and illustrating like where you come from and stuff is very, very cool, and it's worth it. Like, trust me, it was, excuse me y'all, it was very, very dope. But what y'all know, it's all about looking in your past so it can help you in the future to look forward. So honoring your heritage, you know, embrace the culture roots, embrace where you come from, as well as be grateful for it. Because every culture and background and roots is so unique in their own little way, as well as like the traditions. But the stories will capture everything. The stories will make you understand more of who you are, as well as why you are who you are today, and your family, your identity, who you identify as, and how it shaped you as a person today. Because it also helps you understand like who came before you and who carried this wisdom into the present. So just remember that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves, within our community, the history, and the legacy that we leave, the legacy that we're a part of or leave behind in the future. Even though it might not be. So let me tell y'all a little funny little joke. I used to be like, when I was little, I'm like, okay, people be like, you're a part of a legacy. I be like, how if I'm not famous? I used to say it to myself. Like, I used to think, I'm like, okay, legacy. And I think about Jay-Z songs. I used his song for my grad pictures, my graduation pictures. I'm in grad school. So I was like, as I got older and understood what legacy was, it was like, I am a part of a legacy. Because I did some things, some historical things I never thought would be historical. Because, you know, growing up, when people would hear historical things, the news was very popular. Until this day, it's still popular in my household. If I didn't hear it on the news, it's like, I'm like, that wasn't a legendary moment. But now it's like, okay, even if you do it not hear it, it's still going to be made in history. And that's how I look at stuff too now, like with the things that I do. Like, even though it may not be broadcasted everywhere, it's still like I'm making history and I'm doing what I have to do. So if y'all feel that way too, it's okay. I also felt that way too, but I promise you, everything you're doing is meant to be. Keep going. You're a part of this legacy, and I cannot wait to see what else you have in store, and also learn a little bit more about where you come from, and see if anybody else had the same passion in your lifestyle. Because we take the time to acknowledge our past, we gain direction and clarity for the future. So you never know how much you deep dive into the past, that can also maybe help you in the future, and also help you deep dive and really sit back and be like, wow, some things I might need to do, or some things I might need to take out. But that's what happens when you do deep dive a little bit to your honoring your heritage, for the lessons in the past, as well as honoring them for the future, for the power for the future. So who is this impacted? Like, how is heritage, honoring heritage, lesson from the past, is empowered by the future? It's power for the future. Well, communities, families, and individuals are searching for grounding, belonging, and cultural pride. Youth navigate identity, especially benefits from heritage-centered conversations. For students and young adults, heritage provides a foundation when the world feels unstable or confused. For family, it creates a sense of togetherness that strengthens bonds across generations. Entire communities thrive when cultural pride and representations are celebrated openly. So let's go into the community, because you don't really hear a lot about it. In your community, where you from, that helps you build your heritage. Even though, going back to like the kinships, kinfolks are not your blood family, but they are family regardless. Blood cannot make us any closer, because sometimes water is thicker than blood. And one thing about blood, you cannot pick who can be in your family. But it's okay. Still got love from a distance, even though sometimes it may get a little crazy. You still got love from a distance. But in your community, when you have people that are like your brothers and sisters but are not by blood, those are the heritage moments that really shape you into a person that you are today, as well as you honor them and take it with pride. Like, for example, I joke my dad all the time when I'm out with him somewhere and he want to take a detour to where he grew up from in his community. Y'all, it's so bad. I know every area of who lived here, who went to school here, who did this or who did that. But now that, you know, I think about it, you know, even I'll be like, okay, he's honoring his heritage, because looking back at the past, it helped him and motivate him for the future that he has now in the present day. So it's like, I know for me, it'll be the same way when I get older and have children. I'm gonna take them down memory lane, because I'm gonna help them see, like, this is me, this is my heritage. This community helped in the upbring me to who I am, as well as this community seeing me when I was a child up until an adult. You know, so those type of things in the community, they can really take care of you. Even sometimes when things get rough at home within your blood family or whoever is your guardian, the community is going to look out for you. Especially if you're in a community that's willing to take care of you and provide for you. That's really family growth, honoring that heritage. Also, like, going back to Black families when we had to watch documentaries and stuff, and understanding like how things happened like years back within like the church, things like that. Those are impacting within honoring the heritage from lessons from the past in power for the future because the community helps shape who you are. Your community will help you in so many ways that you just don't know how much, like, you're thriving when your cultural pride and representation are celebrated openly. And I love when people, you know, celebrities and stuff, or not even celebrities yet, but if you have something going for yourself, when you give back to your community, that goes to show that, yeah, I love where I'm from, and I'm honoring the people that paved the way for me, and that's a part of my heritage. Like, I was born and raised here, or I was raised here, whatever the case may be. So why not be able to give back to them? Because this is where the thrive when culture, pride, and representation are celebrated openly. regardless of how big or small the celebration is, just being able to give back to the community, to the people that love you and serve and help you through hard times and things like that. But just most importantly, seeing you grow up and willing to help you navigate the way, and teaching you as well as you're teaching them. The community plays a big foundation on so much in our life, and sometimes we forget it. You know, they say don't forget where you come from. And I'm real big on that, because y'all, I say it all the time, I'm from Baltimore. I'm not going to forget where I come from. Even if I do decide to, you know, leave, I'm not going to forget Baltimore, especially from the education standpoint. Like, sometimes it was times where I was like, I can't stand it, but it helped me to where I am today. Like, I even went to an HBCU in my city. I went to a HBCU, and now I'm going to a PWI in my city. Like, every school I went to in my city, even though at first I did not want to go to school in my city, but I still think the community that was there for me, that helped me within my choices and what I wanted to do, as well as still give me the prayers and still protected me at all costs. But then when I said I'm staying home, it's the meant even harder, especially when you have that community support that's willing to see you win and push you. So don't feel bad, you know, sometimes we may not have the best of communities, but also empowered. Be the change for the empowerment. Be the change in your community. Sometimes you got to take a leap on faith. Sometimes it's not going to be the same. Like, sometimes the older people may pass or may move on to their own of a part of the world. But keep the traditions going. Keep it going. Keep that going for the next generation to come. Because you never know how much that can help them. Okay, so, like, you know, this impacts everyone, as well as going from the families. For families, it creates a sense of togetherness that strengthens bonds across generations. Now, I'll say my family, my father's side is many generations versus my mom. I think I want to say it's like a good 3 generations still left. And what I've noticed within that is togetherness is a very, very strong word, as well as strength. Building that togetherness with so many generations, as well as coming together as one. Sometimes it's not always easy, but you gotta keep those traditions going in some type of way or some shape or form, or creating new traditions for the generation, so they can also be helpful to honor your heritage from the lessons from the past, for the power for the future. And recently I went to my cousin's wedding, and not all of us was there, but we still made the best of it and came together as one. Of course, family is going to have some hiccups. It's going to have some hiccups. We're going to have some drama. We're going to say some words with, like, you know, it is what it is. But one thing that I noticed that, you know who's for you, you know who's not for you. But you always want to just, you know, still have that thing where we're still going to come together. Because for the next generation coming up, we want to keep these heritage going. Even though they're new, we want to try these new techniques. We got to keep it going. We got to keep it pushing. We got to keep it together. And togetherness is very big, especially in a family. If you have multiple generations, you better keep it together. As well as with the smaller generation family. Like, my mom is not too many of them, and they're trying to come together. But my family on my dad's side, I see like, they're going to try. Don't get me wrong, they are going to be some hiccups, but it's okay. Long as you be able to talk about it like adults and handle it out the way, it's possible. And if not, it's okay, it's all right. Long as you advocate for yourself and understand, you know, we may not be on the best terms right now, but we're still family. You know, sometimes, like I said, you cannot pick your family, but you can pick what's for you and what's not for you mentally. But you could also take it with, you know, what may not work out and say thank you, but still be polite. Don't be the bad guy. You want to be the bigger guy. So within families, it does create a sense of togetherness that strengthens bonds across generations. And it's very important that even if you're dealing with it right now, if family reunions not happening and stuff like that, create your own and try to freestyle, do whatever you want, because being able to still honor that heritage from lessons from the past for the power of the future is needed, especially within family. Togetherness is key, as well as building that strength, because it's so needed today. So please, please, please get it together with your families. I know it's hard. And then when the older generation is not here, it's like, okay, we're next in line. We got to give y'all the forefront. I get it. But it's very important that, you know, you put out there like, I'm still going to make this work regardless if things may not go well, because we have to honor our heritage from from lessons from the past to power for the future. And then going on from individuals, there are searching for grounding, belonging, and cultural pride. At times, like going back to if you don't have a community or family, this where the kinship comes in a lot. Some people that I went to school with, within, I'll say mainly at my HBCU, some of them did not have close relationships with the people in their community, their family, but they found their people at their university. And I'm not saying this because, you know, I went to 3 colleges at a HBCU, and one of them was an HBCU, but in general, at any college you go to, sometimes, well, most of the time, you will find who's for you. You will find your village. You will find who is belonging in your life, and that will help you to build something new. That'll help you have your own heritage, as well as honoring it, and then also learning from lessons from the past, from your family and stuff. Like, you may not have little to no knowledge, but also creating a new one for the future for you. Trust me, even for me, I can say I'm in the middle of it because I do have a family. I do have my family. I do have a community. But also, me as an individual, finding your identity and searching for grounding and belonging and the cultural pride and understanding your culture, it's a very big thing. And at my HBCU, I was able to understand my culture a little bit differently and deeper because it's in my community, and I feel a sense of I belong here, not because of the color of my skin, but because of the knowledge that I bring. And for me being who I am. Even at times too, y'all, even if you're not, you know, a part of the HBCU, units, that don't make you no less than anybody. I know so many people that went to my HBCU that were not African American, and they love it, and that's what helped them find who they are today. And hopefully I can see them at homecoming. But, you know, just within us individuals, trying to seek that grounding sometimes is very hard. And that's why it's important for you to understand that sometimes you may not be able to honor your heritage within your family and your community, but sometimes you have to start your own. And they like the saying, they say, like, you will find your best of friends of college. You will find your people in college if you didn't find them in high school. You will. And even if you don't find them in school, you will find them in the community which you serve, where you work at, anything. Just you being able to find your people, period, will help you feel grounded, as well as a sense of belonging. And sometimes cultural pride, you may even learn from your friends that are your people, that y'all might have things in common, and it will help y'all take the research to see how y'all similar, things like that. As well as within the youth navigating identity, we have to help them understand who they are, and helping them know that, okay, this is what you, this is who you are, as well as helping them embrace their self within their identity itself, and within their identity too within their self, as well as like this, the benefits from heritage centers to cover. Hold on, y'all. The benefit from heritage centers conversations. Taking the time to really have to sit down with the youth and help them understand why it's important for them to know where they come from, as well as what the benefit of it is. It helps them open so many doors. It helps them expand and understanding what's for them. That's for everyone, for students, young adults, families, elder adults, and everything. Heritage provides a foundation when the world feels unstoppable or confusing. That helps. Heritage helps to find foundation. It helps us to find a foundation of who we are, as well as we get a sense of belonging in our grounding. Y'all, if y'all watching on the video, I do have this cup of tea in my hand because up here in Baltimore, the weather has been changing like so bad, and I do not want to get a cold. And you know, I'm around fans, children all day long, so I gotta make sure I'm cool. So yeah. But honoring your heritage, lessons from the past, power for the future, impacts everyone. It impacts everyone. And going back to, if you're new here, the who question impacts everyone, every gender, every pronoun, unless it's about a certain population, pronoun, things like that. But in this case, it impacts everyone. So the next question is, what is the benefit? So what is the benefit of you honoring your heritage, lessons from the past, power for the future? Well, it benefits confidence. Knowing and understanding and honoring your heritage, as well as lessons from the past, power for the future, gives us confidence. It gives us confidence to understand who we are and why we are who we are to this day. It strengthens the community bonds and connects us to wisdom that sustains us through challenges. It connects us to wisdom that sustains us through challenges. Being able to look back at the past to see if someone in your family or, your new community, whatever, had dealt with the same thing, it helps you understand that you still have confidence, but it also helps you understand that you're not alone. And don't feel embarrassed about these situations, because we all have those situations. Whereas, like, I know nobody in my family ever did this, or I know somebody in my friends group never did this. When 9 out of 10, my friend, you're not alone. Some of us has done the same things and we just don't know about it. Or it may be a special trait. Who knows? But being able to honor heritage also inspires a sense of pride and dignity that combines feelings of invisibility and reassurance. It gives us stories of resilience to lean on when facing hard times. Remembering our heritage not only grounds us, but also reminds us of the creativity, strength, and brilliance that flows through our roots. The more we lean into it, the more empowered we become to shape new legacies. So when it comes to the benefits of, just honoring our heritage, as well as understanding that these lessons from the past will help us from the future, we have to remember that our heritage not only grounds us, but it also reminds us of the creativity, the strength, and brilliance that flows through our roots. Like, even though all heritage is not the same, and we all go through things, but we all have power and so much creativity and so many gifts that we need to honor, as well as the stories that helped guided our loved ones before us can help us, as well as the songs. I'm real big on music, and sometimes my friends and family be like, you don't really listen to much music in this generation because you listen from the past generation, because those storytellings also help identify who I am today, as well as looking back at pictures, stories, listen to stories, the clothes, images, and stuff that will also help you, and it helped me understand who I am, but also embracing it, because the more I lean into it, the more empowered it helped me to shape the new legacy in front of me and to come. As well as, going back to honoring heritage also inspires a sense of pride and dignity that combines feelings of invisibility and reassurance. Just being able to understand who you are, where you come from, will help you understand, okay, this is helping me understand, like, this is the sense of pride that I need, as well as this is part of the dignity. Like, I feel that I know what I'm coming from. And I also feel like I don't feel invisible. I feel seen, I feel heard. It takes time, but it also helps me to identify that I'm not ashamed where I come from. Even though it may be funny and it may be a little bit different from the average person, but that's what makes you different. But also knowing that, embrace it, because it's something you don't hear every day. Just embrace these things, especially too when those stories come into play from our older relatives, that gives us resentment to lean on when facing hard times. Going back to, like, just reflecting on those things that they had to deal with, that helps you and us today, that we can reflect on them to help us, guide us, and mold us and keep us moving on to what we're doing. So heritage, sometimes we don't really understand, like, what's the purpose. Heritage is understanding where you come from and who you are today, and it's shaping you into the person that you are today, as well as helping you understand that this is what makes you you, regardless of what you identify as, your pronouns, things like that. This is helping you within every stage of your life, as well as helping you understand and open more creative things about you, that this is what it is, because this is you honoring your heritage from lessons from the past that has helped you for the power of the future, and enjoying it in the present day. So don't be ashamed, because remember, our heritage not only grounds us, but also reminds us that creativity, strength, and brilliance that flows through our roots. The more we lean into it, the more empowered we become to shape our new legacies. So keep that in mind, as well as help bring the new generations to come. So keep on cherishing these moments, as well as creating your own, but also remembering that not only will this help you in the long run, it will also help someone else in this process of your legacy journey. So when should you reflect on your heritage? I feel like you should reflect on them as much as you can during celebrations, just having conversations as much as you can to understand who you are and why you are the way you are. So during cultural celebrations and moments of self-discovery, or whenever you feel disconnected from your identity, you need a reminder of your foundation. Reflection can happen in both quiet and public moments through journaling, storytelling, or gathering with family and communities. It is especially powerful during times of transitions like starting school, moving, or navigating big life changes. Reflecting on heritage during these seasons can bring peace, direction, and belonging. Ultimately, there's never a wrong time to revisit your roots. They are always waiting for you. There's never a wrong time to revisit your roots. They're always waiting for you. I would say for me, reflection can happen in both quiet and public moments. Journaling is a big one for me, as well as storytelling. Going back to like history I love history. If I could be a history teacher, I probably would do it. However, it depends on what type of history that I will be teaching. And I think it'd be American history. Or like black history, or well, altogether probably American history, from learning all from different cultures. I would say that because I like to explore not only just my culture and my race, but others as well, to understand, to see how unique they are and how different it is. Storytelling is a big thing, and then also in my culture, storytelling is really big. But in every culture, in the whole, storytelling is really big. And as a person like me growing up, storytelling was something that I like to hear. Excuse me. And even as an adult, when people tell me stories or scenarios that comes from my students, family, friends, clients, whatever, I vision their story. Like when I say telling the story, I'm visualizing the whole detail in my own point of view. Because them storytellings and them stories and things like that, those are pieces of wisdom that is helping me in the long run, that I could give to someone else in my life. But also just sitting back to listen to those stories hold power. As well as when you're journaling, you're holding a power. Even though you're holding a pen or a pencil, you're holding power of jotting down things that's important, or what you have gone through that has also impact with you even taking a risk to gather your family or community together. And at times, going back to what I said, at times we will not always get along with all of our family members, but being able to take that risk to sit down and talk to them, but also to understand where we come from and see why it's important to keep this family going, as well as why it's important for us to keep going, but also inspire and also take that leap on honoring where we come from is very important, because that helps you understand that not only does this impact me, but it's impact the people that I share blood with, my blood relatives, even if it's not blood related. Going back to the community will look out for you at times when you couldn't look at your family to help you lean back on. Getting your community together, as well as them helping you navigate the way, is super dope. It's something you don't see every day. But being able to just take the time to reflect on your heritage is very important. But also understanding that when you feel down and when you're about to start a new chapter in your life, reflect on these heritage. Like going to school. We all got different experiences with going to school. And then sometimes we take pieces of things from the past, like necklaces, pencil boxes, clothes, hairpins, jewelry, whatever, to help us to get through the day. Like on TV, it'd be so like cool and it'd be so inspiring. They'd be like, when there's a wedding scene, y'all, I love those scenes. When the bride's about to get married, her mom gives her pearls from her great auntie, great grandma, somebody, and it keeps it in the family, because for when a special day comes, the generation still pass it. It's still being passed on. The watch, the necklace, pearls, earrings, things like that is so powerful. As well as within, for the guys, the dads will give off probably like a ring, a wallet, a watch, pocket watch, whatever. Like, even if it's not symbols, but wisdom also holds a lot of power to help you in this new, when it's time for you to transition into anything. Like going back to when we feel disconnected from our identity, and we need to remember, we need a reminder of your foundation. This can help in so many ways with them reflecting. Reflection can happen in both the quiet and the public moment. Within the journaling, that's a quiet moment. Storytelling is in a private or public moment. a gathering with family and friends, family and community, public or private. But also having to understand that during the powerful times during those times through transition, like starting school or moving or navigating big change, we have to reflect on our heritage during these seasons, because it not only will it help you to understand who you are, it brings you peace and peace, protection, direction, and belonging, and feeling the weight lifted off your shoulder, because you understand why you are who you are, and you know who else is the same way. Even though we share the same thing, we're different, and it displays in so many ways. As well as having that reflection on heritage, again, during the season, can bring peace, direction, and belonging. And is most definitely needed. And that's why we should reflect on it. Whenever we have these times where we want to learn more about our cultural lives within it, whether it's the cultural celebration or in the moment of self-discovering. Because you want to know, like, why I do this, or who in my family had good hair like this, who eyebrows, something, knowledge, even with school, education, whatever it is. That's where self-discovery come in. As well as being able to reflect on this heritage will also help you know that there's never a wrong time to revisit. Your roots is always waiting for you. The roots are always waiting for you. Like with plants, they're always waiting. The roots are always there. The grass stuff is always there. And when it comes to your history, it's always there and it's waiting for you. It's just waiting for you to get to the nitty gritty of it, to learn more about it, to see like, okay, why is it important? Why is this going to help me? Because not only is it going to help you to identify who you are, it's going to bring you peace, happiness, blessings, direction, and belonging, in a sense of relief that is needed in the long run. So don't be afraid to take the time to sit back and ask the people that you love, either your family or your community, who am I, and why do I do the things I do? Because having to honor your heritage is very important, as well as learning the lessons from the past can shape you within the present to help you for the power of the future that you could give off to your children, your family to come, as well as the community you serve, or the community that you will be into, that you will live in. Where does this matters the most? So where does navigating heritage, lessons from the past, power for the future, where is important? Like, where does this matter the most? In schools, family, creative spaces, and communities, where representation and culture needs to be preserved and celebrated. When heritage is centered in classrooms, it validates students' identity and encouraging them to embrace who they are. In the families, it becomes a bridge that connects generations, going back to coming together, like, even though we're the same, but it also helps us to see how we're the same in different ways. Encourages them to embrace who they are. Well, in families, it becomes a bridge that connects, generations, ensuring transitions are not lost but passed on. In creative spaces, it inspires art, music, and storytelling that uplifts cultures in powerful ways. Whether heritage is recognized, it strengthens the collective identity of a community. Now I'm going to go backwards. When it comes to community, I'm going to go out of order. A creative space. I feel as though Vibing with E is a creative space, because not only is it empowered with storytelling or uplifting the culture in powerful ways, it helps you identify who you are in certain ways that you may not even know about, that will lead you to impact your family and community to come listen to me or whatever podcast you feel as though to help you understand who you are and to see how things are the same. Storytelling, it visualizes, it help you understand, it take you to putting yourself in that moment, even though you were not in that moment, but it have you thinking like, okay, if I was there, how would this go for me? Visualizing and having, that's where imagination comes into play. But then like the creative space too, with inspiring the art, music, and storytelling that uplifts culture in powerful ways. Storytelling is a very powerful way because that's how artists do it. But then the songs they create, some of them stories that they're telling are real live stories that you put into your own visual, what they have it over a beat, or just with no words. With art, art, pictures, all that is 1,000 words. A picture is worth 1,000 words. It can also help you understand more within a creative way. You can display your heritage in so many ways that people will probably not understand, or they will probably understand it in their point of view, depending on if it's similar or not. But just being able to understand that it matters everywhere. Like at school, I like how I see it firsthand. That's why I put it in here. When it's in the classroom, it values students' identity and encourages them to embrace who they are. And embrace who they are, because you could have a student that's an African American just like you, but their heritage may be different. You may have a student in your class that's Caucasian, and then y'all might have some things similar and y'all don't know. But I love how within the school that two schools that I've been in, the one I've been in for undergrad, the school I went to, and the school I'm at now, they let the children embrace who they are within their heritage and let them speak about who they are, as well as getting to know who they are and identifying why it's important they are who they are, but also letting them know that don't be afraid and don't be ashamed of who you are, because that makes you you. And that's, we have to keep pushing and telling our students that it's okay to be different, and don't be ashamed to be different, because if we was all the same, I would probably get sick of it, because like it should be no way in the world that we're the same, we look the same, we talk the same. No, I like coming across different people with different personalities, different creative styles, and different backgrounds and genres and things like that. And one thing I'm really big on too when I talk to people is being different is something that impacts you in so many ways. Like for me, it was hard for me to identify how I'm different from others, but slowly but surely I'm still understanding why I am. As well as when it comes to your family, it bridges the connection generations, like going back to we all are family, flesh and blood. But it helps us to understand that ensuring traditions are not lost, but they're going to be passed on, like holidays as well as family reunions, whatever, just doing something in the new one. Even though the generation ahead of us may be gone, that doesn't stop anything. We keep the legacy going. You gotta keep it going. You gotta keep this going, honoring this heritage. Keep it going, because if not, what's next? The next thing you could do is start your own, or take some pieces from the previous one to see what you can do. But within the community too, it helps you to create a place of understanding of who you are. Going back to, like, even in your community, sometimes we may not know who we are in our family blood wise, but the community is always going to look out for you, and they're going to tell you, they're going to show you better than they're going to tell you. They're going to protect you in every way possible, because in the community where representation and culture is needed, it preserves and celebrates. Going back to, like, I'm from the city. I'm from Baltimore, but you know, it's a city. We identify, like, you know, where I'm from, in my hood, like, this is what happened in my hood. And the saying too, you can take birds out the hood, but you cannot take the hood out of them, because that's where they're from. That's them honoring their heritage, but they know how to articulate it. They know when they're in the hood, they can, you know, go to or we know when they're in certain places out of the world, like, I don't know, like in other, like in international countries and stuff like that, they can't really do that, but they're not going to let no one take that away from them. And that's what I like. Like for me, like, I be scared when I go away and stuff. I'm like, because it was so crazy to y'all when I went to my cousin's wedding and we stayed in a hotel in Virginia, like Charlottesville, Virginia. And my sister was talking and the man was like, oh, y'all from Baltimore. I was like, Mom was like, how do you know that? I got the cracking up, because it was like, he was like, I hear it all in your voice, and I know how y'all talk, y'all culture, y'all heritage, things like that. And it was just so funny, because it's like, going back to, you know, like, you can take you out the hood, but you cannot take the hood out of me. And if y'all know, if y'all see it on y'all Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, they come for my city R accent so bad. I'll be like, it's so British. Some people like it's so romantic and soothing to their ears. I'll be like, I don't know. But on a community aspect, it's like, you know, like, wow, that's super dope. Even though half of us are not related, but we're a community because we have something similar from each other, like the way we talk, the way we move, the dressing, the eating, and things like that. Like, your culture will really help you and understand, well, the community that helps you uplift within your culture, as well as today, like slowly but surely, from like music, dance, and song, like every day we're adding something into our culture that is just like, whoa, this is super dope and nobody else can do this, but this is what makes us us. So don't be afraid. Like, it matters. Like, you matter, and wherever you're at, it matters the most. Like within the schools, it matters. It's teachers, staff, professors out there that love for their students to identify who they are, as well as embrace who they are, because it helps them understand why they are important and why this make them who they are. But in the families, it helps, you know, bridge the gap. It helps to bridge that connection within the generations. Within creative spaces, it helps us to inspire the art, the music, and storytelling that uplift our culture in so many ways. But also in the community, it helps us representations of culture, and it needs to prevent and celebrate culture within honoring it. Because you know why? When heritage is recognized, it strengthens the collective identity of a community. It is always waiting for you. It's always there. Your roots are waiting for you. So take that risk and sit back and ask the questions about who you are and your heritage and why does it matter. And that taps into the last question. Why is it important? Like, why is this important? Why is honoring your heritage, lessons from the past, powers for the future? Why is this important? Because heritage is legacy. Honoring the past equals up to creating a stronger, prouder, and more unfilled future. When we know where we come from, we can better navigate where we're going. It's foster resentment by embracing us of the battles already fought and won. It also inspires unity by showing us that our shaped in history has the power to heal, strength, and empower us today. Our history shared. It shows, it doesn't inspire unity. It also inspires unity by showing us that our shared history has the power. Your shared history has the power to heal others, strengthen others, as well as empower others in communities today. This is why it's important that we need to honor our heritage from the past, lessons from the past for power of the future, because it inspires unity by showing us that our shared history has the power to heal others, strengthen the others around us, as well as empower us today to empower the ones that we're serving and who's in our life today. It's very important. I know it's probably like, I never really thought of it. Ego is like, okay, I probably gotta re-listen to it again and understand, or I need to ask some questions. Regardless of what you do, please honor your heritage. Embrace the lessons from the past that will help you with today, with it also giving you power for the future. Being able to learn from your roots is very powerful, because it's always waiting for you and always ready to navigate and let you know what's going on. As well as it helps you with the power of healing, strength, and empowers you who you are today and others. As well as these stories and traits and stuff will also help you. What is your time when you ever had a situation? So take the initiative to honor everything that's around you, as well as the people who are around you. Don't take them for granted, because they helped you so much to help you identify who you are, as well as you're up next to help the next generation to come. Because that impacts with heritage isn't just history. It's the heartbeat of who you are. Take time this week to learn, celebrate, or share a tradition that grounds you in your culture. The stories of the past carries the strength to fuel your future. Whether it's through food, music, language, or storytelling, honoring your heritage is honoring your future. Remember, your past is power and your heritage is your guide. So take advantage of it. Don't let it slide. Okay, take advantage of it. Do not let it slide. Honor them people in your life, within your community, if they're blood or kin folks. Honor them, because they helped you to identify who you are, because it's the heartbeat of who you are. Heritage is just not your story. It's the heartbeat of who you are. From the food, the music, the language, the storytelling, the swag, the everything, art, everything. Take it with a grain of salt and embrace it, because to know your roots is to understand your power. Okay, so I thank you all so very much for taking the time out of your busy day to understand and unfold more on today's vibe of the day of honoring heritage, lessons from the past, power for the future. It's very needed and it's very important, and I want you guys to understand that. Don't be afraid and don't be ashamed to understand who you are, because it's needed. Sometimes we think we know who we are, where we come from, but sometimes we don't, and sometimes we may need to learn and navigate a little bit more of who we are and why we are who we are. Okay? So I thank you so much again. I hope you all learned a good few key points, as well as understanding that being you is not an embarrassment, as well as where you come from is not an embarrassment as well, even if you are or are not close with the ones you love. And even also taking that risk of just understanding that we all go through these things, but we may be different in some types of ways. Okay, so do not be afraid. Take it one day at a time and love on yourself, but also please take that risk on knowing that your roots are always waiting for you, and it makes you who you are. Okay? I wish you all nothing but an amazing rest of the week and weekends to come. Please enjoy as much as possible, but also please advocate for yourself. Do what you can do and speak up when it's needed, as well as taking the risk of learning who you are, as well as not being ashamed to teach others. Okay? I love you all so very much, and I cannot wait to hear and see you guys next Wednesday, because this Friday we do not have a Vibing Out with Cass appearance. Okay? Love you all so very much. Please be safe. Enjoy this weather. And also stay hydrated and take your medication, because this is the time where flu season happens, as well as seasonal depression is coming up. So please take the initiative to handle your depression. I'm here. Talk to a therapist, journaling, touch, go out in nature, whatever you have to do to stay grounded. Okay? Until next time. Bye.